Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my preview for the match on Saturday. Arsenal travelling to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea. A game that despite last weekend's result against Manchester City, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's a chance for Arsenal to go into a game against another big team and really stake a claim. Of course, I am feeling a little bit deflated after last weekend. Of course, who wouldn't be after losing so convincingly at home to the Premier League champions? You know, it's not going to fill you with the greatest of spirits, but I'm still feeling incredibly excited, very optimistic, and I think there's a lot of positives to take out of last weekend. The way that we're implementing this pressing system at Arsenal, the way that we want to play is very positive, but I don't think last weekend was probably the greatest match to implement that pressing game, really. If you look at how City's second goal came about, it's from us trying to press against them. They do the pressing game perfectly against us in the opposite direction, score a brilliant goal, and it's so obvious to see the team that's been coached and managed and has brought in all these new additions over the past 2 years, and a team that is very rookie, very rusty, and is just starting out on the new process, which is obviously us. And it doesn't get any easier for Unai Emery going up against the Premier League champions, going to Stamford Bridge, a ground where we notoriously do quite poorly. But it's a game that, as I say, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm feeling very optimistic. It's a battle between two new managers coming into the Premier League. Sarri is a guy that I don't know a great deal about, but his football at Napoli was very exhilarating, very exciting to watch. Fell away towards the end, I think. Typically with Napoli, they tend to do very well throughout the opening stages of the season, but they do kind of fade away. But that's, I mean, Juventus in that league is so dominant. I mean, no one even comes close to competing with them. But the style of football, the players that he had at Napoli were sensational, and the players that he's now got at Chelsea, I think their forward line certainly has more to be desired, but the midfield is where they're really going to hurt us in this game. It's where we can't be too susceptible to damage. I felt that's where the problems were against Manchester City. The midfield, individually, I think the players look very good for us, but as a trio and the way they work together, a lot to be improved on. Guendouzi looked very good. Ramsey looked very good at the pressing game. Granit Xhaka, I think, he has to cut out those errors. Otherwise, he's just a liability in the team at times. But what he does bring to the game, the way he creates space, those balls over the top are fantastic. But he needs to cut out those errors. And yeah, that's something I'll get onto a little bit later. But the players that City have got, Kante v Torreira is going to be a fantastic battle. And then you've got players like Jorginho, Kovacic, fantastic new additions. That's a really exciting midfield. And then let's not forget players like Pedro, Willian going forward that maybe aren't that amazing compared to the likes of Leroy Sané, Kevin De Bruyne, but they're still very dangerous players and players that can cause us problems. Up top is really where their problems lie. Of course, they've got Morata and ex-Arsenal man Olivier Giroud, but I don't want to dwell on that too much. Of course, it's going to be interesting. It's our first game against Olivier Giroud. We can't really get sucked into that too much. He's a Chelsea player now, and he's a player. We know his qualities. We know what he can do in a game such as this. And I personally think he will hurt a player like Mustafi and Socrates. He knows especially how to play against Mustafi, and given how big both Morata and Giroud are, Socrates and Mustafi aren't the tallest of players, so that's going to be an interesting battle, and the defence certainly has to be a lot more assured in this game. But going forward with Aubameyang and Lacazette, they have to start. There's no question in my mind that those two have to be playing together in this game. I think we've got a real chance of scoring at the Bridge, and I think we've got a real opportunity to go there, get a result, and look forward to these upcoming games we've got coming up. We've got a game after this against West Ham United where it's not, I don't want to say it's a winnable fixture, but if you look at how they played away from home at Anfield, we should be picking up 3 points against West Ham. And I think if we implement this pressing game well against 80% of teams in the Premier League, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be beating those sides. What I really liked about Arsenal in the Man City game last week was the game we're trying to play, the pressing game, that style that we're trying to play at Arsenal. It's something I haven't really seen under Arsene Wenger, and it's something that I'm really excited to see implemented under Unai Emery. But I think we've got to be careful when we use that style of play. Going against Chelsea at the Bridge, I don't know if that's the right time to consistently play that system. If you look at some of the best Arsenal performances we've had in the past 5 years or so, that one against Manchester City springs to mind, and I know I've used it as an example so often, but if we soak up the pressure and then we implement the counter-attacking style and then press at the right times, I think we've just got to be patient with our play. If we're a lot more patient, then I don't think a team like Chelsea are going to press us in the way that Man City did. I don't think we're going to be as susceptible to damage as we were in the game last weekend. They haven't really got the players to do it, and I think on the opposing side, we certainly have if we do it in the right way. Aubameyang, his pressing game wasn't so effective for me against Man City, and given the pace and the strength you'd hope he's got and the height as well, I think I'd like to see a bit more from him in this game. And if Ramsey's fit and he's playing, his game should bring a lot to this fixture. So I'm excited to see how that's going to be introduced. But I think we've got to do it sparingly, and I think we've got to do it carefully in this match, because Otherwise, Chelsea, I think, are going to dominate the ball, they're going to dominate possession, and they can hurt us, and I think they certainly will if we allow them too much time on the ball. So it's a case of knowing when to do the press, and I think that's something that, you know, it will take time, it certainly will, but it should only get better from that game against Manchester City last weekend. But as I say, I don't want to see it played too much in this match, because I just think away from home against a team like Chelsea, we could leave ourselves open to being picked off, which I certainly hope doesn't happen in this match. Now, I think from last weekend there are a few changes that need to be made at Arsenal regarding the team lineup. First of all, I think, well, I've made it quite obvious that I think Lacazette and Aubameyang have to play together. The spark that came into the game last weekend when those two were on the pitch, even though it was only half an hour long, they looked brilliant on the pitch together, and I think that they've got to be starting. It's a no-brainer for me. The pace of those two, the way they play off each other, they really seem to enjoy playing their football together. And then you've got to think about the creativity of someone like Mesut Ozil, the way he can provide those players. It gives him another option, it gives him another runner, and I think it's got to be the trio, the spearhead of the team going forward: Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Mesut Ozil. In midfield, this is where it really gets debatable for me. There's a real toss-up between Guendouzi and Xhaka, who needs to be dropped for Torreira, who, it's, again, another no-brainer. He needs to come into the midfield. We need that battle with Kante. We need someone like Torreira to stop the likes of Jorginho and Kovacic, so he's got to start in this match. But who's he going to come in for? Is it Xhaka? Is it Guendouzi? Now, Guendouzi, for me, he brought a lot of positives to the game, and there were a few errors in his match. Let's not forget that, you know, that chance over the top where he completely missed the ball. It went to Sergio Aguero, and they could have quite easily scored if it wasn't for a brilliant save from Petr Cech. Of course, there's a big debate around the goalkeeper as well. Is it Petr Cech? Is it going to be Leno that's going to start this match? For me, I'm not too sure. I don't really know what message it will send out if we drop Petr Cech following the performance he had last weekend. I think it's quite evident that he can't play out of his feet, and at 36 years old, is he really going to be capable of learning that? I'm not so sure, but it wouldn't really be a great statement from Emery if he is to drop Petr Cech going into this game against Chelsea to bring in Leno, who is still adapting to the Premier League, and we don't really know how good he is with his hands. Let's not forget Petr Cech made some outstanding saves against Man City last weekend, and for me, he's the guy that's got to start between the sticks at his old stomping ground, Stamford Bridge. The defence, I think, pretty much picks itself. It's going to be Bellerin at right back, I'm pretty sure of that, and then Mustafi and Socrates in the middle. And if he's fit, which I'm pretty certain he is, it's going to be Monreal at left back. Now, Lichtstein had a very good cameo appearance, well, not so much a cameo, but a 40-minute spell against City last weekend, and it is a toss-up between him and Bellerin at right back, or even playing Lichtsteiner at left back. But I'd like to see players in their natural positions in this game. And I thought Bellerin, even though he got on the wrong end of some abuse, I think, last weekend, I thought he had a very good performance. That opportunity he created with himself, putting it through the legs of Mendy and then creating that opportunity. I think we are really seeing the start of potentially Hector Bellerin's re-emergence, which I really want to see at Arsenal. Of course, I don't want to get too carried away. He was quite poor during spells last season, but I think under this new system, under Emery, he's perfect for this pressing game. He's got the pace to do it. He's got the pace to recover. I certainly want to see him starting this game at the Bridge. Now, I want to get into your team lights because, of course, I tweeted out asking you to get your thoughts in. And again, I got 40 responses, so I can't feature every single one, but thanks to everyone that tweeted in. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. But these are my three favourites, certainly three ones that I found interesting. First up from DM, he's gone for Leno, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates, Lichtsteiner, Torreira, Guendouzi, Mkhitaryan, Ramsey, Aubameyang and Lacazette. And top that off with got to drop Ozil, can't afford any passengers, and if we're honest with ourselves, he consistently goes missing in big away games. Certainly debatable, that one. And the next one from Kieran is Leno, Bellerin, Mustafi, Socrates, Lichtsteiner, Torreira, Ramsey, Mkhitaryan, Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette. And the final one from Connor Hum, Leno, Bellerin, Mustafi, Holding, Monreal, Xhaka, Torreira, Ozil, Mkhitaryan, Aubameyang and Lacazette in a 4-3-3. Now, it's interesting to see that Leno has started in every single one of those lineups, and I think that was the case for the bulk of lineups that you guys tweeted in. I can certainly see why. If we are going to be playing this pressing system out from the back, and we are needing a goalkeeper that's going to be playing with his feet, then it does make sense to play Leno. For me, it's not the right game to do it. I'd play Cech in this game and really kind of give up on the pressing, on the playing it out from the back just in this match, where I think we need to implement more a counter-attacking style of football and then look to play that pressing game at home to West Ham. That would be the sensible option for me. I think Emery needs to pick up a point. He needs to get a good result and performance in this game. I just don't think, as I mentioned earlier in the video, playing that style is going to be beneficial away from home in a match against Chelsea, where we, as I say, we notoriously don't do particularly well. So I'd be more intrigued. I'd be more inclined to play it safe in this game and then look to bring that in a more winnable fixture against West Ham United. That's when I'd be looking to play Leno. I don't think there's any anything wrong with playing Petr Cech in this game. That's just my personal opinion, and certainly it's going to be one that I think is a very much 50-50 split between Arsenal fans at the minute. Also interested to see a shout for Rob Holding to start this game. Sokratis was, he wasn't as bad as I thought he would be against Man City last weekend. He is slow and he is quite plump, I think it has to be said. He looks like a big lad. I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to his game. It can be to some players like Akin Fenwa, but for Sokratis, I don't think it certainly is. He needs pace to recover. Mustafi's got that in abundance, but Sokratis certainly doesn't, and I think he did have a tough time against Aguero, but his positioning is good. He makes a good one-on-one challenge, and he knows when to draw the fouls, so I wouldn't have too much of an issue with him starting in this game, and I'm 90% certain that he will. But again, it comes down to Lichtsteiner and Bellerin, which one of them two is going to start. It was good to see them two feature in a piece for Arsenal media talking about them competing for the right back spot, because of course it is going to be so heavily contested, and then Lichtsteiner coming through with the experience and saying it's not me versus you, it's us playing together for Arsenal Football Club. So it's good to see that. It's good to see that camaraderie within the team, and I'm looking forward to seeing whoever starts at right back. As I say, my preference would be Bellerin, but it's good to see we've got a player like Lichtsteiner in the ranks as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. My score prediction is going to be, I don't know, 2-0 to Arsenal. I'll be positive. That's what I'm going to go with. My team lineup in full would be Petr Cech in goal, Bellerin at right back, Mustafi, Sokratis at centre half, left back Nacho Monreal, Guendouzi, Torreira, with Ramsey playing ahead of them, Ozil drifting in on that right hand flank, Lacazette through the middle, and Aubameyang playing in from the left. That's my team. Get your team lineups in the comments box below. Get your score predictions as well in the comments. Drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game, and as always, I'll be speaking to you very, very soon, guys. See you later.